Analysis, the bread and butter of your paper. What is analysis? First of all, it's breaking down the evidence, offering a suggestion, making an observation. It's explaining the meaning, importance, or significance of the evidence. And finally, it's answering the question, so what? Let's take a look at some examples. Before we do, let's refocus. Where are we in this paper? We've already gone through the introduction, the funnel introduction. The thesis statement is the last sentence in that paragraph. And for today, you should have, in both body paragraphs, a claim, opinion, same thing, along with your evidence. You can see that today we are focusing on the analysis of those body paragraphs. And as a general rule, your analysis should be double that of the length of your evidence. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but if someone looks at your paper, it should be clear wherever there are quotes and quotes that aren't dropped, after that there should be some analysis. Let's take a look at two examples. You can remember in the model paper we were talking about tense mood and direct characterization in The Outsiders. The evidence that we had was from Ponyboy. I was sweating something fierce. Although I was cold, I could feel my palms getting clammy and the perspiration running down my back. I get like that when I'm real scared. So what does that mean? So what? Who cares, Mr. Kaufman? Well, analysis. Here, Hinton, the author, contrasts sweating to cold to create a dramatic mood, as if the reader could experience the social's attack. Ironically, even the cliche running down my back enhances this edgy mood. It's rather strange that a tough greaser would feel so afraid. Ponyboy only feels this way when he is real scared. Therefore, the reader infers that this does not happen very often. The seldom nature of this occurrence, then, captures the apprehensive mood. And if you look at this example, you can see in red we have the evidence. It's nothing like, see, I told you so. We have a tense mood. It's more complicated than that. You're making judgments. You're breaking down the evidence and explaining the meaning. And you're doing this in a way as if the reader had not read the paper. Example number 2, this time with direct characterization. I was wishing I looked like Paul Newman. He looks tough and I don't. But I guess my own looks aren't so bad. So what? Let's analyze. Immediately into this novel, Ponyboy admits that he doesn't look tough. Like any normal teenager, he worries about his appearance, even comparing himself to Paul Newman, an A-list movie actor at the time known for his eyes. Comparisons such as these often lead to dissatisfaction. However, Ponyboy rationalizes to himself that his looks aren't that bad. Here, he provides a defense mechanism to shield himself from his own thoughts. Through this direct characterization, Hinton shows that Ponyboy's internal conflict is not unlike any other teenager who feels conflicted about being accepted. So just from a few lines in the novel, we can really start to analyze and make sense of how Ponyboy feels. And it's all direct characterization. Ponyboy's telling us this is how he feels. But we can still infer and dig deeper from that direct characterization. We know he doesn't look tough in his eyes. And we can talk about and write about what that really means. Again, 2 words, the rest is analysis. Here's some tips for you. I realize this is probably the most difficult part of the paper. These tips will help. First, you need to find the most important words in the quotes you chose. Go back, look at your short story and poem. What words, what lines What are you going to quote in your paper? And then break it down. In that line, find the most important words. Pick 2 words, pick 3 words, nothing more. Explain what these words mean in the work. Ask yourself, so what? What does this line or these lines tell us? And then make judgments. Reason forward. What can you infer about what might happen based on the words you chose? Reason backward. What can you infer about how this character or speaker got to this point? Why are we talking about this in the first place? Lastly, here's my best advice. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, where to go next, even though you've just been presented this PowerPoint. Slow down. Go back to your evidence, ignore everybody else around you, and free write for 4 minutes about what you think it means. That means there are no inhibitions. Don't stop writing. Don't worry about it being right. Don't worry about complete sentences or punctuation or capitalization. I want you to let go of your mind. It may be goofy. It may not make sense. But just write nonstop for 4 minutes. Because the problem is, we all get to this point as writers where we think what we're writing and as we're writing it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound the way it should. And then you start worrying about everything else and you're doing too many things at once. The whole point of this at this point is just to generate ideas. And you can't do that if you're worrying about everything else. The bottom line, don't go into a think coma.